I have received a couple of different questions on the channel that I'm going to try to address in this video. The first one has been a bunch of people have asked me over time to treat white box on the channel. And when I first got the question, I looked back in my videos. I was certain that I had done it and I realized I had not. So this video is designed to answer that. And then more recently, since the publication of my Solo Geek Deluxe book and Solo Geek book, people have asked me to demonstrate how I use them in gameplay, and so this video is going to do that as well. I have already created my two characters that I want to use in white box, and I have done it following the white box rules, although we're going to build in a little extra stuff from Solo Geek Deluxe, for example, before we get going. I'm choosing to play an elf magic user and a halfling thief. There's no real reason for that, except that I always go with a magic user and I like halfling thieves. I just wanted a party of two. I guess the third one could have been a warrior type, but this is what I went with for right now. And I rolled up the stats here and applied the various modifiers. Briefly speaking, so white box, we're just going to take a look here at white box, and here are the credits here. This is originally published in 2017. I have the second printing from April of 2017. I believe that there are different covers now. I don't think if you go to purchase this, you can find this easily at your big online retailer for inexpensively priced. You are going to see something that has a different cover, I'm fairly certain. I don't know if there was actually a new edition or just a new printing, but this is what we are going with. And the essentially, well, we'll go to that. This is essentially a reskinning of Swords and Wizardry, which is in itself a reskinning of sort of the original game, the original RPG, and it is a d20 based system where you are going to be rolling your d20. Your character may have a 2-hit bonus that you're adding onto that roll depending on the class of the character, as well as any bonuses that may come from your stats. So you're working with the bonuses, not the actual stat numbers. So you don't see what I rolled here. It was 3d6 in order. And you need to equal or beat an enemy's AC. So that's basically how it goes. And so, for example, with our elf magic user, who is going to be having a ranged weapon, and therefore dexterity is going to be the bonus. We do get a 2-hit bonus of +1. So we're going to be rolling our d20 +1 assuming we're using our ranged weapon. So that would end up with a 14, and we would then see if the enemy we were interacting with had an AC of 14 or below, in which case we would be successful. In the game, as we're playing it and as per the rules, all the weapons do 1d6 damage, so then you would roll for the damage. There are some other things here. For example, my halfling thief is carrying stone. So the weapon here, it is a ranged weapon. They've also got thief tools. We only have 40 stones, and we are going to keep track of that, but we're going to basically be tossing these stones. He gets a +2 hit with a missile weapon in combat, and this is a missile weapon. So we have basically the two characters with missile weapons. Now that I'm looking at this, don't know that I thought that through very well. I kind of want a melee character. Maybe we will, I don't know actually that we've given the elf, think actually the elf has a staff. I think the elf is meant to be a melee character. As you can see, this is kind of in process. Well, we'll take a closer look at that when we get into fine-tuning our characters. Anyway, the thief is somebody who just has kind of stones to toss, and he's also got this oil and torch, which could do 1d6 of damage per round on an AC hit of 11 or less. They're not super strong. They're going to be traveling through the wilderness. And one of the things that I'm going to use to help create this little adventure are these, something I've shown you already, which are these single page solo sheets that were created by Perplexing Ruins, and you can see the link to that in my video description. These are updated versions of them that are specifically keyed to white box and swords and wizardry. But you could see here in the notes here, what does it do differently than the ones you've seen before? And I'll try to put the link to my earlier video on these somewhere. It doesn't really do a ton differently. Some formatting is different. It's statted to play original D&D white box specifically, so we're going to be using that. And I will say it also does come with its own rule set, as it were. So if you don't have white box, you could pick it up. There's a couple pages of rules that Perplexing Ruins has created that work well too. I'm not using them because I did want to go to white box and use everything, and the rules are pretty rudimentary, but we're going to be using this, and it comes with sort of two active sheets here. The one has a solo engine with an oracle and some NPC stuff, characters, some names and items. Also has a few enemies here, terrain that you can generate, even some quests. And we'll see, we're going to use this. I may supplement it with some material from Solo Geek, as well as we have discoveries and dangers and some traveling encounters and things. And it has its sequence of play. So you start by creating your 1 to 3 characters. You do select a central hex. This is going to be Overland Crawl. They want you to place a settlement 6 hexes away to create a place to go to, a foundation for moving around. And then you roll up your quest and you kind of just begin using your imagination. And the notes here from the designer: they are a mashup, a simple variation of od&d and Into the Odd type games. As well, it's encouraged to start in the middle of the action. Don't overthink things and just kind of roll your explore die. The explore die becomes the GM in the game. It's just going to kind of give you some random stuff, and just develop your story that way. So it says allow yourself to be free, simple, responsive, and proactive. Timidity is a great barrier to fulfilling solo play, and I certainly do agree with that. So you'll see how I develop this. We'll get through some beginning session, some scenes in the beginning session, and this is going to be what we'll be using. I may bring in a couple of other supplements, some other card supplements I have if needed, but for the moment we're going to stick with what we've got here. So I took for my elf magic user. Now, actually, I realize I did not make these level 1s. I think these are level 3s because, right, so I do have level 3. I made a level 3 character, and that's where I got these spells from. We have a charm person spell, detect magic, read magic, sleep, light and darkness spells, and knock, so to unlock doors and things. We'll see how those come into play. So we do have this magic user, and I need to, my concept here was that they would be using their staff for melee, and I don't see that I wrote this down anywhere. So we're going to have a staff, and again, as mentioned, they're all going to do d6 damage, but this is going to be a melee. So this will be using the strength stat, the dex stat for the stones. So my thief is the most effective because I've got my +2 and then +2 on a missile hit. So it's +4 with these stones. but we've only got 40 of them. I don't know how we're going to get more. So there's that. Okay. So we're going to roll up quest and we're going to go, well, no, we're not going to roll up quest. I'm getting ahead of myself. I want to, before I get any further with these characters, there are some name charts here, I think, for characters. Generally speaking, I don't, I just kind of go with my own names. I don't love name charts here. Not seeing anything that I'm going to call my elf magic user is going to be Arabis. That's Arabis. Arabis, the elf magic user, and or Arabis is an elf magic user. And here's where we're going to go to Solo Geek Deluxe, because I think I want to give a little more personality to her, and I'm going to go to my epithet table here, and I'm going to roll. That's a D88 table. I did not prepare properly, so we're going to roll 2 D8s. We got a 2 and a 7, and that's going to be, Arabis the Foggy. Now, my concept here in these epithet tables are that I think giving some sort of modifier, as it were, to the name is really helpful narratively. So Arabis the Foggy, how is this going to come into play in this game? Well, maybe she is not the sharpest. Maybe she never goes first in combat because she's not like at the ready. I don't know, something like that. And sometimes it's useful to have a kind of predetermined impact, mechanical impact in the game. Sometimes it's useful to just wonder how that's going to play out and find the appropriate moment when it seems to come into play. And for our halfling thief, we will go with 551 is going to be this. Oh, we didn't give a name. The Wanderer. And we got the Wanderer. That's actually great. We need a name for him. And I feel like I want him to have a single syllable name. I don't know what we've got here. Rusk the Wanderer. Let's go with Sly the Wanderer. So we've got Arabis the Foggy and Sly the Wanderer. So again, we're going to see how this will play out narratively. It could be that when faced, we are going to be traveling in this. It's an overland, at least to start out. Maybe if there's a choice to go somewhere or not go somewhere, Sly is going to go off and do it, have more odds of doing it. Additionally, it does pair with, Arabis the Foggy and Sly the Wanderer. Maybe Sly's more attuned to what's going on and might always act first. I don't know. We'll see. But it does start to give a little bit of personality to these two. I don't know what their relationship is yet. And that's another thing that I could get from my book. Somewhere I have a table about relationships. One of the things I talk about in my book is the importance of triangulation for developing a story, meaning when you just have two things, that's not actually really conflict. That could be duality. It could be opposites. It doesn't give you a dynamic kind of conflict. But if there are three things, two people and a thing, two people and a destination, you have more, you start out with more dynamic possibilities. But let's see. Let's go to these tables here. So we've got a D6 for quests, and we could do an action, a target, a source, where it is, opposition, reward. We'll start out here with our action and target. We'll read these chromatically, alphabetically, so green and white, and we got 6 and 6. Protect a message. So our quest notes here are protect a message. That's not telling me a whole lot yet. Protect message. And let's see the source and where it is. So the The source is a friend, and where it is in a city. So the source of the message or something is a friend, and the where is a city. And then the opposition and the reward, I'm less concerned about the reward, but the opposition are soldiers, and the reward is some type of an item. So, okay, opposition are soldiers, and the reward is an item of some sort of like a special item. Okay, so these are some notes we have for the quest. And again, we're developing these characters, we're developing this story, so it's okay that we don't necessarily know more what this is yet, because we're not playing a game book where we know exactly what we need to do. This is going to be an evolving story and some general concept of protecting a message that the source of this, either the source of the quest or the source of the message, is a friend. Maybe we also need to protect that friend. Where this message is going to be in a city. So I think we are going to roll up another location. Well, we need to get 2 locations, and this follows these game sheets here. It says select a central hex, roll up a name and some characteristics. That's our home. And then we want a settlement, or in our case, it's going to be a city 3 hexes away. So we will get to that. But before we do, I want to go back to something I omitted in my character creation, which is, of course, what I always like to do. And that is to give my characters some trinket, because I think the small little item that they hold on to can do a lot to develop a character in the bigger picture of who they are. So I'm going to go to the trinkets table here, and we will see what we got for them. And we've got a D66 trinkets table. So somebody has trinket 25, which is a Fey forged necklace, a gift from a druidic scribe. It's probably going to be our elf here. A Fey forged necklace. I'll make a note of that. A gift from a druidic scribe. The notion of a scribe and a druidic scribe, maybe that is the friend, and maybe this necklace that is perhaps engraved with something is the message and thing that needs to be protected. And maybe the concept here is that Sly the Wanderer, Erebus is kind of foggy, right? She's just kind of, traveling around the world without much purpose. She's a good person, good elf, but traveling around, she's got some magic, but doesn't really have much of a purpose. She does, however, have this Fey Forge necklace that is inscribed by it's a gift from a druidic scribe, her friend, and it is some kind of message that needs to be protected. So that's what I'm getting from there now. All right, let's what does Sly the Wanderer have? Sly the Wanderer has Sly the Wanderer has a cursed pocket watch, and it ticks louder when it is near death. So interesting. This pocket watch is can perhaps guide Sly through the world, maybe help avoid certain treacherous situations or whatever. So let me make a note of all of this, and we'll get further on. Okay, let's develop a city here. Now we've got settlement names. So let's go with a settlement name. These are D6 tables again. See what we get here. We get new low. No, I don't like that. Newville. We got prefix, suffix. Oh, I see. Okay. So 34. Clouded Falls. Hillwick. Little Woods. I like Clouded Falls. I don't know. Clouded Falls could be where we start out in. And we have, I think, All right, I don't actually think there's much more here about the leader. Right, there's actually not much more than that name, Clouded Falls. Okay, I have a table, a DA table in here of cities. We could just go to that, although they are already named, I think. Let's remind myself what I got. We have, yes, we have D8 cities in here. 4 is Cronethorn. Cronethorn. Cronethorn is a city ruled not by witches, but by law itself, living, growing, and impossible to escape. Its towering courthouses and labyrinthine streets are governed by a web of ancient legal codes that enforce themselves through iron-bound constructs called judicators. In Cronethorn, ignorance of the law is death, and the law is ever-changing. Cronethorn. All right, that's cool. Cronethorn, that doesn't feel like our home, though. Maybe that's where we're going to. Maybe, so our destination is going to be Cronethorn, and that is going to be that kind of city of laws. And we have this message in that is kind of carved into this Feyforged necklace, and it was a gift from this druidic scribe. Perhaps the scribe is, perhaps the scribe's like a legal scribe, like a stenographer, as it were, in the court system. Maybe they, during the course of some kind of trial, they carved a secret message or something into this thing that somehow Erebus got, and they're wandering out in the wilds because Erebus and her, let's say, cousin is a wanderer, and she's kind of foggily following along, and they need to bring this back. It needs to be protected. The scribe maybe is in danger for having tried to transmit this message or something. I don't know. But yeah, there's some kind of legal something or other going on with this message. Maybe the message is a new law. The laws are ever changing in Cronethorn, and we'll just make a note of that, and we can always go back to that description and refer to it. And then we are going to put ourselves in just a hex somewhere. I don't think it really matters where. Here, say, and we're instructed to have something. The city is going to be, the settlement is 6 hexes away in any direction. We could just roll a random d6 for the direction. That'll be 3, 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, you know what? I have to move ourselves up here. So say we start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is going to be Cronethorn here. And I'll figure all this out in a better way. Make that Cronethorn CT. This is where we are, Clouded Falls. And that's the direction we're going to be traveling in. They also, they want you to make a lake somewhere. Place a lake 3 hexes away in any direction. We'll roll for direction. So we are basically, direction is going to be more or less 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This way, 1, 2, 3. So we're going to have some sort of a lake here. I'm not sure that's going to really come into play. And we already have our quest, sort of did it out of order there. And now I want to develop an actual sequence of play. All right, I misspoke when I said I needed to create a sequence of play. What I meant was I need to follow this sequence of play, which is to enter a new hex. We roll terrain, weather, and explore die, and then we follow the prompts to the other tables based on what we get for the explore die. I'm going to choose 3 dice that kind of are thematic to terrain. This is like a brown kind of dirt looking die. This is a double D6. Obviously, that would be the weather die, and this is going to be my explore die. So we will give these all a roll together, and we get a 1, 3, and a 3. So our number 1 terrain is grasslands, and the weather is, there's fog. So there's fog in the grasslands, and the explore die, we got a 3, which tells us spore. So coming out of this is the spore table. What do we have? One, a foul odor. Ugh, it's not starting well. So we're in the grasslands. It's foggy and there's a foul odor. So I will make a note. I've changed, this is a sheet I have from something else. It was just, I think it's showing up better on camera. So I will make a note here, number one, down to crown thorn, that we are in this foggy grasslands. We're smelling some foul odor of a spore. Not sure we really want to stick around here, but let me give this a think. So here we are. We are in these foggy grasslands. There's a foul odor, and we don't specifically get anything more than that. But there is a table of traveling encounters, and I didn't see a little rule for it. So I'm going to say, like much like a wandering monster situation, although in this case it's kind of dangerous. On a 1 to 2, we will have a traveling encounter, and 3+ we will not. So we'll roll here. We got a 1. And so we're going to go to this 2d6 plus a d6 traveling encounters table, and we will give a roll here as so. And so we got an 8 and then a 1. An 8 is a small camp of hunters. So we come across a small camp of hunters. That's a number 1. They're welcoming us. And so they're wandering around looking for something in these odiferous grasslands. We have a conversation with them. Maybe there's something like mushroom. Maybe there's fungi here that they're looking for. And let's see. We know that they're friendly. Let's see. What is there anything we can get from our tables here? Some prompts about what the conversation could be about. We've got a noun and a verb. We'll try that. And we will, let's see, we'll read again green and white here, 1 and 1. So they're talking about, being betrayed by a person. So this group of hunters is on the hunt for some odoriferous mushrooms. Hope they're careful with that. And they're having conversation about somebody who betrayed them, and we come across them. They're friendly, and the conversation is focused on this. Well, we're going to say it's some type of NPC. Perhaps it is the ruler of the city. I don't know. We could go to a yes/no kind of situation to find out if that's the case. I think there are some tables in here about NPC situations, characters. Let's see who has betrayed them. First of all, it is an elf. An elf has betrayed them. Now, again, we're an elf. We have that druidic friend who gave us the thing. They were betrayed by an elf. I wonder if the ruler of the city is an elf. If there's some connection there. The type of it was an elf adventurer who betrayed them, and let's give that person a trait. They were florid. Not sure how that helps us. They looked like and heroic. They got betrayed somehow. So a heroic adventurer who betrays a couple of hunters, I'm going to say that basically he stole their treasure. They all went adventuring somewhere and they got some loot, and this guy ran off with it, and they're going hunting for these mushrooms to try to take their minds off of that betrayal, and that's what they're talking about. They're happy to point us in the direction of, or confirm that we're going in the correct direction to Cronethorn, and I don't know that we're going to get much more than out of them than this. Yeah, I think that's what we got. So we're going to say our goodbyes to this group of mushroom hunters and roll up the next hex, basically, as we exit this kind of fungal area, and we move into I see the new terrain. So we've got a terrain here, grasslands. Then we move to the this table, and it's going to say it's continuing grassland. So we don't just roll on the new terrain. We got same terrain there, and the weather here is going to be turning foggy. I realize we did not roll on water. I should really have a blue die for that, but we didn't roll on water, and we see there is no water here. So there's no water. It's foggy. We're still in the grasslands. And what is the Explorer? Oh, I already rolled the Explorer die was a 4. Sorry about that. I forgot I already rolled it. So we got a 4 on the Discovery, or the Explorer die. So we will roll on the Discovery table, which is here. And if you could see that, yeah. We get a 6, and it is a passive discovery. Now, I don't know if there is a passive table. Why, yes, there is. So we come across something, and it is an animal, and it's an animal in the grasslands, and we are approaching it, and we can roll on the table here to see what animal it actually is. It's a bear. So it is a bear that we have come across in the grasslands, and let's just confirm. Hang on. Yeah, it's a bear in the grasslands that we have snuck up on. Now, I did not address the fact that we don't have any rations. We weren't setting out with any rations. There's no specific mechanic for needing rations or even the amount of time it's taking us to travel. However, we probably do need some food, and 6 hexes away could be days, it could be hours, we don't know, but either way, we come across this bear, and I think we may attempt. It's got an AC of 12, and it has a lot of health. It has 4 that's a hit dice are going to be D8s plus 1 health, but it's only doing a D3 claw damage, and it does have a bite. It's not telling us about that bite. I can also look up a bear in the actual white box. All right, so I had to come in happily and do an edit because in white box, the dice rolled for the HP are not D8s, they're D6s. So it's 4D6 for this bear. It's 4D6 plus 1 health. So I'm going to legitimately do a reroll so I can actually follow the rules. So this is going to be the roll now for the bear's health, and that is still not the greatest. So we got 15, we got 17 health on the bear. So it's got 17 HP, and it has an AC of, I think we said 12, which really isn't so super bad. I think we are going to attempt to sneak up on it, and we are going to we're going to attack it. We're going to attack it. I mean, we're going to use a lot of stones. Sly's going to use a lot of stones. And the Erebus has her staff. So we can be stealthy with Sly on a roll of 1 to 5 on a D6 per the rules. So basically, if we don't roll a 6, we're going to get to be stealthy with Sly. So Sly and his stones are going to be able to sneak up on this bear, and we will attempt with our we got a +2 to hit with a missile, and we got a +2 on our dexterity, so it's a +4, and the bear's AC, we're looking for a 12 or greater total roll. So of course, we tossed a stone, it missed. This alerted the bear, and the bear is now coming after us. Now, just a quick point. In the white box rules, you actually are rolling for initiative with high number winning. So I went with the sneak roll that Sly could sneak up with his stone to start. And of course, the bear is going to respond, but really there's an initiative roll. So if we were green and the bear was white, it's simply the D6 roll, and whoever higher has the initiative. So if I had done that roll, we would have had the initiative anyway, and then we would have Erebus going. But it does make sense. The bear might hear something, and we didn't hit the bear, so maybe Erebus is going to go next with her staff. Erebus is going to try to hit this bear with her staff, and she gets just a +1 bonus. She has a 2 hit of +1, so she's going to get a +2. I don't like this D12 now. She's going to get a hit of +2, looking for 12 or better here, and that is definitive. So she does successfully hit this bear with her staff. And as a reminder, we're doing this d6 of damage. Oh, sweet. Erebus. Erebus, Erebus, great. So Erebus is as successful as she possibly can be with her staff and is going to take the bear right away down to 11 HP. I don't think we're given any type of stat here for a defense on this thing. No, we don't. The bear is going to turn around, though, however, and attack us. And I think with this, I don't know if we say who we're going to call Erebus an even character, and Sly will be the odd. So we'll roll a d6 to see that the bear's going after Sly, and the bear is going to be rolling with, let's see. All right, so the bear's coming after Sly, and unfortunately, the bear just needs to be rolling a 9 or more. I'll explain how this works. There is a table here, and we can see that we're dealing with a 4 HD enemy, and Sly's got an AC of 12. So, with a 4 AC enemy attacking an enemy with an AC of 12, the bear just needs to get an 8 or greater on this d20 to succeed. So the bear comes after Sly with his claws and his bites, and he just does it, and he's going to be doing d3 damage. Now, thematically here with this bear, we've got a couple of claws and a bite. Now, the bite is not given any specific. Maybe the bite is a d6. So the way I'm reading this, it is a bear after all. So he's going to be like this and biting. It's going to be 2d3 damage plus the d6 bite. That's the way I'm reading it. Maybe there's some ambiguity there. I don't know, but I'm going to find my d3s somewhere. And all right, so we're getting our 2d3s and a d6 worth of damage from the bear, and so that is a total of 9 points of damage in that one attack, and that's half our health. So, well, let's see, do we have, no, that is half our health, so we're down to 9 health. He had 18 to start, and that is that's round 1. And Sly is not happy. He's sort of backing away, going to attempt another attack with one of his stones, and he'll roll his d20 plus 4, looking for a total of 12. He's got it, and let's do some damage here with this stone. Ah, yes, 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 yes. 6 points of damage with the stone that we used, and he's pretty happy about that. So this is a pretty bloody, intense confrontation. We're going from 11 down to 5 HP for this bear. He starts to stagger around. Erebus gets ready with her staff and her +2, hoping for something better than she got. So the bear is now really, really irritated, and I would think he would go after just Sly, but we're going to do our odd even to see. And actually, unfortunately for Sly, he is the target again of the second bear attack. So again, the bear's looking for 9 or greater to succeed. Oof. Now, we don't have specific rules in here for this like critical success. So we'll just roll the damage, but that's not great. Sly's got 9 health. That's a 5. That's a 7. He's down to 2. He's down to 2 health, and he's really bleeding. He is not in good shape, but he reaches for a stone, pulls it out of his pocket, takes aim with his +4 modifier, and it's a hit. And again, we're looking for some serious damage here. Yes. Okay, when I needed it. So that doesn't usually happen, but we got it because the bear was down to 5 HP. So the bear falls down in a heap in the grasslands. I think it's sunny. I can't remember. And Sly is clinging to his 2 health. They do need to, and remember, he's got this cursed pocket watch that ticks louder when it's near death. And you know what? He's starting to hear it ticking. So Erebus is going to have to get to work with dealing with this, processing this bear, we'll call it, and maybe getting some bear blubber or something to help heal Sly a little bit if possible, or at least give Sly an opportunity to rest. So of course I am now realizing that I never purchased, I had some gold from them. We never went shopping. We just kind of set off with our thieves' tools and an oil and a torch. I don't think Erebus really has any type of item at all. I think, and also she probably could have used her sleep spell at some point during that encounter. Poor Sly is down to 2 health. It's okay. We had the encounter with the bear. We are going to move on from there. And I would say that that was, I mean, all things considered, that was marginally successful. I think this was happening in this hex. I'll have to go back and look at my notes. Bear encounter. And we're going to move on. We're trying to get to Crown Thorn. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to roll these dice that we have. Now, again, it's on a slightly different table here because we need to see if the terrain is continuing or it's changing. We also have a water table that I completely forgot about, and we have our explore die. We'll start there. So a number 3, it's the same terrain. We're still in the grasslands, and it is, well, we're getting a thunderstorm. That could be good. You know, Sly's bleeding. Maybe the rainwater is going to help him. There's nothing showing on the explore die. Let's see, are we near any water? There's still no water, and we're just wandering in the grasslands here, and so there's nothing that evident that we have. We will roll the die that brought us the bear, the encounter die. So again, whoops, not that one. On a 1 to 2, we're going to have another in such encounter, but no, it'll be just smooth sailing through this hex, and we're getting close to Crown Thorn, and we will continue along with our efforts here. We have, again, still the grasslands, and it's still raining, and it's the spore table again. Spore table is not what we want to deal with here. The spore table there's black smoke, and I think that that's probably going to be the smoke of the city that we're seeing perhaps in the distance. So we're still in the grasslands here, but there's some black smoke, and not really sure that we have anything to say about that except continuing along our wandering, and we find that still the grasslands, and it's still raining, and yeah, it's another spore table. I think that's the exact same roll I got before. And now on the spore table, what is it? There's monster tracks. Okay, there's monster tracks here. So there's monster tracks from the grassland. So I think this is where we're going to go to a little oracle and just see, does this mean, we'll go to this little oracle table. Are the monsters nearby, basically? And extremely no. So evidence of monsters, no monsters. And we'll see, is there some sort of narrative shift here? We got a 4. Oh, a bad NPC appears. Well, the NPC that's going to appear clearly is the hunter that is maybe separated, or the guy who these guys were talking about, the hunter who betrayed them, and he's looking around at these monster tracks, and maybe there's like empty traps here or something, and the monsters have escaped or whatever, and here we are, and he's really angry at us because he thinks that we have been the ones to let them go. And he looks over at Sly, he's coming around, but he's still obviously injured, and he is hostile for sure, and he is going to I think he's going to draw like a warhammer or an axe or something out at us, and because I think he thinks that we stole or released his monsters. Now there is an NPC interaction table here. Let's see, what are we going to try to do? How are we going to respond to this? Our method is sabotage. Well, that's not great because we don't really have a way of sabotaging him, and he thinks that we already did. So I don't think that is going to be super helpful here. This NPC, maybe he has a secret. let's see, does he have a secret? He knows the location of some gold. Well, of course, because he's a criminal. He knows that gold is the loot that he stole from these friendly hunters up here by the fungi. Maybe they're going to come help us. I don't know, but it seems obvious that we're going to be having some type of confrontation with this fellow, and we don't really have a rule here for, we're going to call him a bandit, and he's got an AC of 12. He has some kind of weapon. It's the dagger, sort of gross, big, bloody dagger situation. He has 1 hit die, so he's going to have a health of only 4, and we will look him up on the table here to see his AC is also 12, and we're going to look him up on the table here to see how it's not going to be so easy for him to deal with us. So for his 1 hit die dealing with us, I think, did I say both of our AC is 12? Yes, he's got to be rolling here a 12 or more to hit us. And I will say thematically, we're not fighting to the death here, okay? I'm not doing that, but we clearly need to fight our way through him to get to Crown Thorn, and Sly is not any... Sly is worse for the wear. Let's put it that way. So I think what's going to happen is she's going to cast a sleep spell, or attempt to, on this guy. So basically, this is how it's going to work. We're going to, the Erebus has to prepare the spell. She can start to prepare the spell, as I understand it, sort of when combat starts, but then she can only cast it when she has initiative. So we're going to do the D6 roll off for initiative. We will be this color. This is going to be the NPC, and the higher number is going to get the initiative. So the NPC, unfortunately, is going to be coming at us. Now, again, I don't want to lose Sly. I really don't want to lose Sly, but we're going to roll even and odd to see who is attacked. And, oh, man, we got Sly. So Sly with his 2 health is going to be subject to the attack of this angry hunter guy, and I need to remind myself what the guy needs to roll to have a successful hit on Sly, and that would be a 12 or less on this D20. Oh, sweet. Sweet. So he swings and he misses, or Sly with his, even though he is just pretty near death, he gets out of the way. Ha, well, I didn't plan that. That was my phone ringing. My silenced phone rang through and had a little bit of dramatic, unlicensed music there. Anyway, Sly gets out of the way. Erebus has been preparing this her spell, her sleep spell, and now I don't actually think she even has to do anything except she just casts it, I think. So she's going to cast this sleeping spell on this hunter, and he's going to fall to the ground, and he is going to fall asleep. And maybe they tie him up, maybe they don't, maybe they're just leaving him here by the side of the, you know what, there's these traps here. I forgot we were in this area with the big, massive footprints of these enemies and these traps. So they take the leather straps off of the traps and they tie him up. They could drag him. Maybe they'll drag him to town. It's just 1 more hex away. So we've been in the grasslands this entire time, and let's give a roll to see, are we staying in the grasslands here? Is the terrain changing at all? And it is not. So it's just the grasslands we approach. We're coming into Cronethorn, dragging our dragging this sleeping angry hunter guy, and also we have in our bags and pouches and things that I didn't explicitly state we have processed. We've got some bear fur, we've got some bear meat that we dried over a campfire that I did not even tell you we set. And we are coming into Cronethorn, and in Cronethorn we have some things we need to do. We need basically to figure out where remember, our mission here is to protect this message. It was carved into this, um, what is it? A Fey Forged necklace, the Druidic scribe carved into it. And so what I would do now, or what I will do now, probably off camera as we're getting a little bit lengthy here, is I would build out my city. I've got a lot that's kind of happened here. And as it has unfolded, there's been peril and stuff, but it's kind of taken a little bit of a not lighthearted, but this isn't a super serious kind of adventure. I'm not getting that feeling from it. So I think I would build out a city using any number of city resources that I have. I think I may have done a video on some of my favorite urban resources. Maybe not. Maybe that's an upcoming video to do. Sorry for the camera situation there. And I would place us within the city and have us travel around. We're looking for we have to deliver basically this Fey Forged necklace that we know was carved by a druid. And again, remember, we're in the city of the perpetual laws, where everything is about law in Cronethorn. The law is ever changing. People don't necessarily know what the law is, and there's a lot that can be done with all of that. And I think as the final parting thing to do, I've stuck with these basic resources here, but I have received, and it's going to be, or maybe already has been in a video, these are the Game Master Apprentice cards, 2nd edition. They have some new things on them, and one of the new things they have on them are these kind of little random sentences or phrases at the bottom. Can I get a little help here? And so as we enter the city, as a kind of parting gift to you and to me, I'm just going to randomly draw one of these cards, and we'll see what it says, and that's going to be sort of where we leave things. So completely random. Boom. Can we try that again? No, we cannot. No, we cannot. So Erebus says to Sly, who's dragging this guy, trying to contend with his bags full of bear blubber and bear fur and such. Hey, can we do that again? I like that. I liked it. I didn't get wounded. I cast my spell. And here we are in the city with my necklace that we're going to deliver for this quest.